Hello, I'm Bragi and welcome to the Viking Gardener of Mercia. I'm in the greenhouse today and I have a little project to do. This is a Carlus, a hazel clump, which I have to prune the bottom of, the roots, and I'm going to prune the top. I'm going to put it into a pot and eventually this will be trained into a bonsai tree. Now, hazels aren't often bonsaied. One of the rarer trees, the bonsai, but when you have a hazel clump and you can grow it so it looks like it's been copies, they can make a very nice hazel. Let's have a closer look. Now this is the clump and I dug this out about 3 days ago, and there's also a bonus plant. There's also a group of Cyclamen here which you can see, so I'm going to save that too and I'm going to find a pot and put that in there as well. Now I'm going to get my hands muddy. It's always the way with gardening. It's one of the most satisfying feelings of getting your hand in the muck, in the dirt, and ending up with a finished product. Let's carry on. First thing we're going to do is get rid of any debris we don't want into the compost bin. Always try to compost as much as you can. I've got 3 lots of compost. Normal general compost. I've got compost which is pine needles, pine cones, and I'm also doing a leaf compost with all the leaves. But in this case I'm just going to put all this into the general compost. Now I'm trying to be careful around this clump of cyclamen. It's going to be a slight challenge to get out, but let's see how far we get. I'm using a few tools for this. I'm using a hook, scraper and a bonsai tool. And the first thing we're going to do is try to scrape along the top, see what we can reveal. There's quite a few clumps of cyclamen in here and I can see one already, a bulb here. So it's going to be slightly tricky to get this one out, but we'll try. And I've also got a little bit of root pruning to do. As I said before in my previous videos, I am not a professional gardener. I'm an amateur. This is my starting journey. And you guys are going to be following this journey with me. And let's not forget the ladies as well. And no doubt lots of ladies like gardening. It is a very therapeutic thing to do. Now here we have a wild strawberry, which I don't want. We've got loads of them in the garden. They are very nice. Those are alpine strawberries. Now if you ever thought about doing a channel like this, a gardening channel, or any kind of YouTube channel, just have a go. Life's too short not to have a go. And you know, a lot of people will say, well, I don't feel confident enough to talk on camera. Until you have a go, you're not going to do it, you're not going to achieve that goal. So have fun, make some content, and you'll be surprised at the results you'll get. Of course, I'm also being very careful. I don't want to damage any cyclamen. I'm also looking for any bulbs. There's a little bulb there of a cyclamen growing. We'll put that one aside. That will go into a nice little specimen in the future. I'm not certain of the Latin name of cyclamen, I must say. I really must go and find a book in the house. Looking in this house where I live, there's about 3,000 books. A lot of them are mine and some of my dad's. We do love books. Books are invaluable for learning. Now this is the pot I'm going to try to get this plant in. As you can currently see, it's way too big. So we've got a long way to go. I'm going to swap tools for a minute and start scraping on the bottom. Get rid of some of this bulky soil. I'm going to lose a few plants and a few roots, but that's the way it goes. It's a bit difficult to talk at camera and do this at the same time, because you're trying to concentrate. After all, I don't want to damage anything. I'm sure you agree. Now I've got a very strange cyclamen bulb here. Normally they're round, but this one's an odd shape. Let me just see if I can prise it out and show you. It's got some roots that's sticking in at the moment, so give me a minute. I think it's slowly getting in there. Now I want to make sure that I don't damage any leaves. Every plant you can save is another plant for your collection. And one of the most wonderful things about plants is giving them away to people. So here's that cyclamen bulb. I'm sure you agree it's a half round one. It's most unusual, normally they're round. We'll show you that in the next one. We'll plop that on that little stone I got. Now a lot of people would see hazel as a weed and a very intrusive plant. But let's face it, squirrels love hazels. And we do have a lot of squirrels in the garden, including one called Fluffy. He's got a very fluffy tail. Now I'm very slowly revealing this cyclamen here. See, I'm going to raise this up. So you might just see it. There's a start of a cyclamen bulb. See, that focuses on camera. I'm very new to this format of filming. Normally when I'm filming for my other channel, I'll be telling you a story. And perhaps on this channel I may tell you a few stories as I do some work in the garden. Because I know many a folk tale. It's something I specialise in. Again, I'm swapping tools again to this tool. Take the mud off. Take the mud off. I'm trying to scrape some of the top. Of course, I've got to decide which branches I'm going to keep. Now, there's one here I don't like, so that's going to come off straight away. This is a bit ugly, and it's a bit too far centre, so I don't need that one. And so we drop a cyclamen leaf. That's too damaged, goes into the compost. Let's have a look. I don't need that. There's some roots here that can be pruned, so we'll prune them. Now you don't need professional bonsai tools to do bonsai. You can just use your ordinary tools. And if you check out Peter Chan's book on how to grow bonsai, he's done quite a few books. One of them is specifically about doing bonsai but not using bonsai tools, and they're using household garden tools, which I'd love to get a copy of. Now we have a bulb here, not a cyclamen bulb, so we'll save that in that little pot. Save as many plants as we can. We are getting there. I'm trying not to damage the tree at the same time. I've kept this clump rather moist so it doesn't dry up and we don't end up losing anything. Now there's another cyclamen bulb. Another cyclamen, we'll put that over there. And here's another one. There's quite a few in this little group. It seems to have self-seeded a lot of little cyclamen, and I want to save them because they're such wonderful plants. I just love the little flowers. Although I'm no expert on cyclamen, you can probably tell that. But everybody starts somewhere. I'm sure Monty Don would have started somewhere, and Adam Titchmarsh would have once been amateur gardeners. So I'm trying to release a bit of the pressure from the bottom of this clump, making sure that I don't damage anything. We don't want to be damaged, but we've got some more roots to come off. Now what we're looking like pot side, we're getting there, but there's quite a bit more work to do yet, so bear with me. I'm going to try to release this cyclamen clump, but we're going to just use the knife end of this tool to slice in, being careful not to damage the roots too much. I'm just trying to loosen the soil, that's all. And a lot of this will be guided from the big roots of this tree. Now, I'm not going to be able to save everything in this clump, but we'll do our best. That's all you can do in life, is your best. And don't forget to smile, smiles are free. Now I'm probably talking too much in these videos, perhaps you want more just watching the action rather than me talking. Let's zoom in a little bit for you. Now I've just seen another cyclamen bulb. Is that, yeah, that'll go in a little pot. I'm trying to get this clump out. There's a nice big clump here. It's getting there. A bit more around here, a bit more up there, and we may get there. This is just a bulb, there's no shoots coming off the top of this bulb. So we're trying to keep the roots intact so that it will plant and grow next season. So there's the bulb itself. So I'll show you that. You can see it. Put it in the pot, save for later. Right, I'm going to get a tool out of my bag. It's a Bonsai branch cutter, very useful tool. You can get the branch cutters and the concave cutters. I don't have a concave one, but I have ordered one. I'm going to slightly prune what I don't want on here. I want to encourage growth, but I don't want too much growth from the top. I want to encourage it also to grow roots, so there's a balance. We don't need that massive leaf. That can go. It's got lots of stems shooting up. Now we want them because they're going to form the next branches. But we've got to decide what we're going to keep and what we're going to get rid of. Quite a few of these are short, so we're going to leave them there for this season and let it grow as much as we can, and we're going to feed it to encourage it. Now we're getting close to the pot. Not yet, we're getting there. I think there's one more clump of Cyclamen in here. So let's try to get that one out. This is the one with all the leaves. This is the one we've got to be most critical of. I do not want to damage it, and it's very, very close into the tree. I'm sure there's a better way of doing it. Now I just found the edge of the bulb, so we're getting there. Some days you've got to be a little bit brutal, but just be careful. There we go. A little bit of brute force, but not too much. And there we have the Cyclamen. I'm going to save that, and that will form a very nice plant pot. We don't need that dead leaf, and I'll pot it up when I've shot this video. Well, today's video is all about this Hazel clump. Now, would it go in the pot? Now, it's getting there, and I've just seen one more group of Cyclamen, so we're going to pull this one out. We don't need that, another one. Bonus. Oh, I love it when nature gives you free plants. Now I'm going to try to prune these roots quite severely, but not too much. I want to keep the roots that are going to give me further roots. So I've found another Cyclamen bulb. That's probably about 5 or 6. There's another one there. That's another one. 7. It's amazing how Cyclamen spread, but yet they don't overtake the place like some plants do and invade. Now would it go in the pot? Not far off. Now luckily on this one there's no major taproot. That would have had to be removed, but on this job we don't have to do that. And what we want the roots to spread out like a tree on the ground. So a bit more scraping to find the edge. There's another Cyclamen bulb, a tiny one. I'm trying to keep as much root as I can and keep some depth. I don't want to give it too much of a shock when I transplant it into this pot. So I think that will probably start to go in now. Yeah, so a bit more pruning and we're done on this. Here's a little worm. Come on worm, you can go in the compost heap, mate. Always save your worms. Put them in your compost heap, it'll do a load of good. Just have a little scrape around, make sure no major roots I can see. I think that's pretty good. There's one down here I don't like, so we're going to try to get this one out. This is a slight taproot. If I can get it out, we will do. There we go. And this one here as well. So, always remember to put your tools back where they belong. It's a good practice to get into. So the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to sift the soil. I want to use some of this, but I don't want it all for the roots. So I'm going to get my hands mucky. I'll tell you what, sieving is a good exercise. That's the beautiful thing about gardening. Good for your health, mentally and physically. I must say I do feel fitter as I'm been getting out in the garden more. Here's another bulb, Cyclamen, so we save that one. This is one of the reasons why I'm sieving, is to make sure that I've got all the bulbs out I want and that we're not throwing nothing away of value. Now, Now I got some clumpy soil, so that'll just go in the compost. I can't be bothered to deal with that. And we'll have one more go before we pop this bad boy up. So tell me, what are you currently doing in your garden? I'd love to know. And are you enjoying the channel? Like I said, we're very new to gardening on this channel, and at some point you will see the second host will be a guest host on the channel, purely for the comedy and laughter, and also to give you a different perspective from somebody else who's an amateur gardener and would like to get into gardening and who's never had a garden. Because lots of people in this world live in flats and don't have gardens. So never take your garden for granted. So we're now ready to pop this up now. The last job of the day today will be watering the greenhouse. Then I can go in them and have a good rest. As I'm saying that, I've got to edit a video from the other channel. So I'm going to put a good layer of soil in the bottom. Now I put some gravel in there already. Now there's a myth, do you need gravel in the bottom of your pot? Some people use broken pots, I do that now and again. I think it's always good to have a little layer to encourage draining, but if you're using the right soil, then it should be self-draining and it should never be clogged with water. Now another technique for working on a tree like this, if you don't want to put it in the soil and you've got a plant which is struggling, you can put it all in a layer of stagnant moss. If you use stagnant moss, it will encourage root growth. Probably a lot more than soil would do. Let's have a look, see where we are on the height level. So we've got a bit more to go yet. I'm always checking, make sure I'm not throwing anything in here I don't want to go in. Might give that a shake, pat it down a bit and we'll have a look. Right, I think that's not too bad. Now I'm going to go for a formal upright with this plant, but it's going to be like a coppiced hazel tree. Coppicing is a very old practice in the woodlands. Goes back well beyond the Bronze Age. So now I'm going to shove the soil around the roots. We don't need that. We don't need that. Shove that back in there. I want to get rid of this branch here, don't need that one, it's broken. That can stay. That can stay for now. That can go. That can stay. These can stay. We've got a weak one here I don't want. We'll get rid of that one. We're going to have this one as a new leader here. Or this one possibly. Let's have a look. This one's a little bit scarred, but I like how it grows compared to this one. So I'm going to get rid of this branch to encourage that as the main leader. And I'm just going to tidy up the little cut I've done. At some point we'll try to get two cameras going and then you can see this from a different perspective. And then later on I'll just put some stuff on that sealant on that wound just in case, you know, not to encourage any infections or anything. So we'll just finish off putting the soil in there, give it a bit of a tap. It's a bit clumpy. I like to get my hand in there and push it down. You don't want any air in your soil if you can help it. You've got a slight lean, that's okay. That's a slight lean on a tree, sometimes slightly better. And then I'll either have it as a wind swept or, like I said, as a more of an informal upright and encourage growth going all around it. Now we've got a couple of roots on the top we don't really need. They're a little bit too sticky-outy, so we'll get rid of that one. And I think we'll keep the other two to encourage them to grow. And that's that planted. The end of the video. If you like the video and you like the channel, then I urge you to go and subscribe and leave us a comment. I love your comments. Always clean your tools.